Hello. Now you will see the updated video. Apparently, I began to use this voice, which would be clearer and easier to perceive. Now I will show you the interface of the program, so that it would be easier for you to understand why you need a specific window and where you need to pay attention to for certain purposes. This is the library window. The library is the most important file. It is like a container where projects and files are put together. I will also show in this video how to create a library so that you can not worry. This is a window of files and projects. It is here that you should look for a specific file to drag it to the timeline. This is a viewing window. Here you can look at the finished installation, as well as at an editable moment on the timeline. In short, everything you do with your hands is displayed on this window. This is the inspector. This is one of the main windows that you need. Here you can change the characteristics and attributes of each element on the timeline. If you need to make the picture larger or smaller, here. If you need to change the transparency or choose a color, also here. In this section you can choose effects and transitions. In this video you won't need it. But just keep in mind that you can find effects here, and transitions here. And this is the timeline. This is the area where all editing takes place and where the video itself is actually created. This timeline has a lot line for footages that you put one-on-one, but the main line, gray, this is main line. For your own good, do not use it for the first time, use only one will export in Final Cut Pro X. After you drop the first fragment on the timeline, just press Option plus Command plus Up button on your keyboard. You can also move between sequences. Just click on these arrows and you can easily move between projects or, as they are also called, sequences. First, create the library. You need to click File, New, Create the library, then the location will be selected where it will be stored, and you can also name the library as you want. After that, create a sequence or project. For this, click File, New, Create a sequence or project. In this window you need to name your project and also choose the resolution and frame rate. I advise you to take 30 frames per second and Full HD as the standard for the US region. The project is the canvas on which you will create the video. There may be hundreds of projects in the library. The main thing is not to reboot the library, as it will freeze and fail. Now let's try to import our materials. I shared them with you and uploaded them on G Drive. Just press CMD+I and you will be able to select the files that you want to upload. For your convenience, we'll drop the original Apple video on the timeline so that we can compare our video with the original. Now we will not remove it from the main timeline, but you can try to do this by pressing Command plus Option plus Up button. Let's create a background of the same color as in the original video. To do this, click on the third icon above the library's window. These are generators and titles. After that, scroll down and you will find the solid section there, after which in the left window find the generator, Custom. This is a one-color background. By default it is black, but we will change its color to white, the same as in the original video from Apple. To do this, click on the custom timeline. After that, in the inspector window, find the colored rectangle and click on it. The color change window will pop up. Now click somewhere on timeline to Apple original video. Important that so your cursor does not point to the custom fragment only on original video with white background. After that click on this vignette button. Now you have the opportunity to repeat any color that you hover over. Just hover over the white background from the original Apple video, as I did. Well, now we have a ready-made background and you can place it in exactly the same place in time as in the original Apple video. To do this, simply move the mouse cursor to the edge of the fragment and start pulling, thereby it will increase. But you should grab only the very edge of the fragment, otherwise it will simply change its position. Finish the video exactly at the same moment where the fragment with the white background in the original video ends and we see a blue screen. You can see what is under your top layer, in this case the background you created. To do this, go to the inspector, click on the second upper icon that looks like a film, and there find the visibility indicator, make it about and you can look at the lower layer. You can also do this by simply selecting a fragment and pressing V on your keyboard. Now time to create text as an original video. To do this, simply go to the menu of titles and generators, as you did earlier, scroll to the very top and find the built-in Out tab. In this section find the title, Custom. Then just drag this title to the timeline. Now click on this title right on the timeline. And then go to the inspector in the second icon that looks like text. In the first section, you can change the text, make this as in the original video. Now you should change the font to the one that Apple uses, Helvetica Neue. And then select the text style, medium. Now we need to change the color of the text. For this selects the vignette, and the way we change the background color is to change the color of the text. Just copy the color as in the original video. And finally, we must change the formatting of the text so that the text is aligned on the left side, as in the original video. To do this, click the formatting icon on the left side in the inspector, in the text section. After that, drag the text by simply grabbing it in the viewport and place it where the text is in the original video. After that, just increase the font size so that it matches the original. Please note that in this video the text is formatted not standardly. In order to maximally repeat the text from the video, you should use the line spacing text attribute, that is, the indent of the letter from the previous letter in one word. For this either simply circle the entire text or select a specific word in the inspector. And then change the attributes of that particular word. Thus, you can change all the other values, the color of the text, the creation of the shadow, tracking and much more. It's ready, but if your text doesn't match a little, don't be discouraged. The movement will not be different for the ordinary eye. The main thing is to create approximate values of line spacing and text tracking, as well as specify the correct font and style of the text. Now you can go to Add a Phone. Find the video file with the phone in the folder that I uploaded to G Drive. After, just drag it to the timeline. Cut off the beginning of this video with music and leave only the part where the phone is on a green background. Find the keying section in the window with the effects, and after that the keyer effect, and drag it directly to the footage of this phone on the timeline. You see that we got rid of the green, but stayed blue. To do this, simply repeat this process again and drag the effect again. You see that the blue color has also disappeared. This effect removes all green and blue from the screen, and this is what special effects for any movie do. We see that we do not have an exact copy of the image, the back cover is interfering. Now I will show how to remove it. In the window with the effects, find the mask section and select Draw Mask. This effect allows you to create a mask and select its size and shape by manually creating points. This is a convenient way to hide the back cover. Just drag this effect from the effects window to the footage on the timeline. And now pay attention to this button. This is a change in the scale of what you see in the viewport. Now the value is 83, and we see everything. But we will have a little attraction. Let's do 200. As you can see now it has become much larger, but the whole image will not interfere. Use this red rectangle for navigation. Now hide all the words on the timeline by highlighting them and pressing the V button on the keyboard. Leave only the footage of the phone so that there is a black background behind it. Now find this effect in the inspector in the first section and click on it that it was circled in white. It is now active. Now, if you drag the mouse into the viewport, you will see that you can put dots. Circle the front of the phone and do not circle the back cover. The goal is to combine the first point with the last, thereby creating a force. If you missed a point, but go to add it, just press Option on the keyboard plus left mouse button. This will create an additional point between the two nearest ones. When you created this counter in the viewport, you can set the fit value, which will give you convenience when editing. You see that we have hidden the back cover. Now you can return all the layers back. Just select all and press the V button on the keyboard. Now you need to cut off the excess and put a fragment with the phone, just like there is a phone in the original video Apple. To do this, activate the blade in the cursor selection section or simply press the B key on the keyboard. Now find the junction where the first scene ends, in which the phone is large, and the second begins where it is smaller. Make two separate fragments. We will edit them separately from each other. Now substitute them in the place where the phone is in the original video. To do this, first select the transformation icon from the bottom in the viewport. Now you can move the whole footage, and with it our phone. If necessary, change the transform values in the inspector section in width and length of the frame. Now we need to substitute the original video that you shot from your screen to insert it into the phone. To do this, go to the Finder and find this file there. Just drag it from the Finder directly to the timeline. As you can see, your video is much shorter than what will be in the video. We need to make it fit perfectly with the video. To do this, cut off the first phase of the clip using the blade attribute or simply pressing B on your keyboard. Now substitute this fragment under the layer with the phone and text that you created earlier, so that it is third from the bottom. Thus, while playing, the footage of the phone will be higher and will create a frame, which is what we need. And so choose the middle of this fragment, or any part where there is no dynamics, and just press Shift+H on your keyboard. Thereby you will freeze the frame. It will be highlighted in red. Now you can make this frozen frame even longer by clicking on the black vertical line in the red section and pulling it to the side so that this frame perfectly fits in length with the phone and text to the end of your scene. Now, as before, they changed the position of the phone. Just drag and drop your video inside this phone. Use the transform attributes in the inspector to make your image perfect in vertical and width. As you can see, we got an almost exact copy of the first scene from the original video.